So I'm here, I'm back. I'm not happy. I'm not ready to go into all the ins and outs of what my diagnosis was. Let's just say it was not MS, and it involves the thalamus. I don't have cancer, so don't worry about that. It's just some questions about the damage in my thalamus and how that happened. So, looking at the symptoms, I may have always had thalamic damage. Okay, I'm eating breakfast. And up pops this foolish Nigerian guy. Let me read you this conversation. This conversation it's too normal. But I know he's a Nigerian because he was friends with 3 of the other Nigerians from the last time I had the Nigerians all hitting on me. Okay. So starts out the usual. Hey, how are you doing? I said, I'm well. How are you? Who are you? I'm doing great. Then I replied, who are you? Okay, this is where the most typical Nigerian scammer response is. And I got it. Well, your profile pump up on my Facebook page as suggested friends when I go online to check on my updates. So I went through your profile. It looked nice and wonderful. Then I decided to send you requests so we could be friends if you don't mind. I don't mind. What do you do? That was my question to him. He said, nice meeting you here. Nice meeting you, was my reply. You are welcome. I am engineer Webb Smith from United States, Los Angeles, California, but I'm currently working with the Royal Shipping Company presently in the middle of the Caribbean high sea headed towards Costa Rica down to Venezuela. I said, are you landing in Costa Rica? I hear it's beautiful, just for the hell of it. If he's looked at my profile, then he knows damn good and well that I live in Costa Rica most of the time. So we're going to see how he responds to that, because these guys trip themselves up. First of all, and here's the other thing. The last one where he said he was the engineer or the captain or whatever, every other word was capitalized. It was the craziest. It's like serial killer. I have to download StreamYard so I can start sharing with these, because sometimes the misspellings, the capitalizations, the way they use punctuation is downright comical. Sorry, I know this shit is bad, but if I'm going through what I'm going through with my thalamus, I'm going to keep my Diet Coke habit. You got to have pleasures in life. Okay, keeps it. I'm currently working in the middle of the Caribbean high sea, heading towards Costa Rica, Denver. I'm chief engineer in charge of the engine room. What do you do in the engine room? Okay, I want you to notice that he never answered my question. I asked him if he was going to land in Costa Rica, and he just came right back with the same, I am the engineer going to Costa Rica on the Caribbean high sea. First of all, the Caribbean is in the Gulf of Mexico. A lot of where he's at, there is no high sea there. High sea that he might be in is the Atlantic. Okay. And the Atlantic near the Caribbean wouldn't really be considered the high seas. So that alone makes me suspicious. I've looked at his profile. He's claiming to be from Los Angeles. He has an Anglican type name. There's no way. The way he wrote that description of being in Los Angeles, he is from there. Calls himself Webb Smith. Another made up name. Damn Nigerians. And the thing is, I'm not poking at Nigerians. I've met a lot of really good Nigerians. My husband lived there, and he has nothing but terrible things to say about it. He lived there for a year until the Civil War broke out, and then they had to leave. My father-in-law got out of Nigeria in a canoe. He says it was very primitive, that the people there are primitive. I don't know how true that is, But I will say, from having done a lot of these Nigerian scammers, that these guys they have a certain naive cunning. Okay. But they always trip up on the details. How many guys do you know who are 60 plus whose name are Webb? I don't know very many. The era of the crazy names started in the 1970s, not in the early 60s or the late 50s. So I guess he could be called Webb, but I don't think so. I think that's a Nigerian scammer name, if there ever was one. And Smith is ubiquitous. It's everywhere. It's everything. Cheerios and scammers in the morning. Scammers and Cheerios in the morning. I never feel like eating, but I always know I have to because I have to drug up. Okay, he is taking too long now to get back. I asked him what he did in the engine room, and that seems to have stumped him. That's a big one. That is a big one with the Nigerian scammers. You ask them specific about their job, and they all flip out. That's okay. I guess I'll pill up while I'm waiting for him. I don't think you have to have much in your stomach to take your medicines, I guess. Yeah, I'm out of one. Oh, and Lyrica. Okay, so this guy's taking way too long. We'll look again at his profile. Let's look at his profile because it is, I don't think that he had much on it, except for the fact that he had a lot of women. A lot of women. Many times you'll see that they all have tons of white women of a certain age. Is exactly one picture of himself on there. Says he's from Los Angeles and he is widowed. Baiting the hook, baiting the hook, baiting the hook for those women dumb enough to fall for this crap. Photos, he only had one. Friends. Well, this is very odd. Yesterday, he had like 20 or 30 different women. Oh, now he has more pictures of himself. Except that I cannot determine if that guy is actually the same guy. I don't think so. Yesterday, he had but one picture up. Today, he's got three, and they're all of three different guys. They're not the same man. Just looking at them right offhand. Okay, and yesterday, he had like 20 women, white women of a certain age, as his friends. Guess what? Today, they're all gone. All of them. Drug up. Don't get old if you can help it. It sucks. It sucks so badly. I'm just going to tell you, every time you turn around, they're adding another damn new pill for new stupid thing. Okay, let's see. I am the mechanical engineer in charge of engine operations. Where are you from? He's asking me where I'm from. What shall I tell him? Should I be honest? Or shall I tell him a half-truth? I'll tell him a half-truth. I am from Washington, D.C., which is a half-truth. I lived there 30 years. I'm not from there. It's important when you're messing with these guys, you add just enough truth so that if they come back with a big question about something about where you're saying you're living or doing, you could answer them. And you could answer them in a way that is actually, I'll turn that off. I'm freezing my ass off. Okay. Very odd. Very odd. He asked me, are you married with children? And as I went to reply, he unsent the message. So that's very odd. Are you married with kids? Kids grown. That's true. Newly widowed. I'm going to lie. Even though that may not be much of a lie, because day before yesterday, when I was having my appointment with my neurologist, my husband jumped in and started wanting the neurologist to talk to him about his diet. And if I didn't know that Costa Rican jails were the worst, I might have brained him. I might have been widowed. Oh, I hate when people do that. When you go on a doctor's appointment, particularly if it's a doctor's appointment that you had to wait months and months for, and you're having a conversation with a person and somebody else jumps in and says, treat me for free, tell me what to do about my diet. It's ready to smack him. But that's the nature of marriage. You're going to have things that you're going to disagree with. They're going to do things you think are tacky or stupid, and there's going to be that. I am so sorry about that. It's okay. We never got along anyway. We told real big fib there. Oh, lure this guy. Let's see how long. Like I said, I'm watching him unfriend people and unsend messages. So I think that this may be somebody that is going to be more difficult. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Events. Let's look at events. No events. No likes, no dislikes. Except for his fuzzy little dog. He is schooling. I am widowed. I have one son who is 14 years old. He is schooling in the boarding school in the States. Where in the States? I'm asking him where the boarding school is. Fiendishly evil. There are a lot of crazy ones. So anyway, I'm going to talk a little bit about my horrible doctor's appointment, not the diagnosis, because I'm still waiting on the test to confirm or stuff that involves my thalamus. This trip was it was a Shiza show from beginning to end. We left Sunday afternoon expecting a quick 4.5 hour drive down to the city. It turned into almost 8 hours. I'd forgotten the tendency of wealthy Costa Ricans in San Jose of having weekend places out in the boonies, and the traffic going back was insane. At one point, we hit a traffic jam that took us over 2 hours to get out of. 2 hours, we went about 5 to 10 miles, maybe. He said that his child is in school in Atlanta. Nice area. Let's see what he comes back with next. So it took us forever to get there. And we had the Tico thing that freaks me out happen, where you're speeding along the highways, Rutas 27, I think that's how you say it, Highway 27. And you had Ticos walking in the middle of the road, the middle of the highway, selling home-baked goods, cashews, all kinds of stuff, including, I should get my Chinese hat down, Chinese hats, like the one I bought one time off of one of them. Thanks. So the Chinese hats, what do you do for retired? I'm not gonna lie about that. So he asked me what I do for a living. I said I'm retired. So it's kind of nerve-wracking dodging these guys when you're on the highway, and they're usually in an area where it's slow. There are 4 toll booths between Punta Arenas and San Jose, 4. And the tolls have all jumped up tremendously since COVID hit. So the tolls were no problem. I always bring my change. I save my change to the toll booth. And then I always have plenty of exact change to go on through. The problem came when we got close to the city. I went to program my husband's phone to go to Google Maps and put in the name of our hotel, and discovered that his new phone did not have Google Maps. And every time I tried to download Google Maps or anything else, I got error messages. So we had to find our hotel using Apple Maps, iPhone apps. It's the worst thing in the world here. They don't have very many things programmed in at all. It's under a year. He wants to know how long I've been retired. So I'm telling him under a year. The reason the Nigerians ask that is they want to know how much money they can get from you. They want to know, have you touched all your retirement income? Are you 90 years old sitting back, or are you either getting ready to retire or have you just retired? Because that's the ones they think they can extort the most money from. How long will you be working towards retirement? That's a question I'm going to throw out there. So we got to the city. We had no available map service because I pulled out my cell phone and discovered I'd run out of money. Because here you don't have a cell phone plan. You just recargar, you recharge it every now and then. I think I put 10 mil on 3 months ago. So that's like $20 3 months. And I would have just run out because I was taking pictures and video of the parrots. They're blue parrots. They're blue macaws right around the Taco Bell in Liminal. I don't know why, but they're there. And all of the maps that show where the parrots are don't show them. So I'm fascinated. And they're in the tree right behind the Taco Bell. So I always try to get videos and try to do a count when I'm there every time. So we had stopped in Liminal. I counted birds, looked at the birds. I had phone then. So my husband's phone just had Apple Maps. So we pulled that up and it would not let us put in an address to find. It would show me where my hotel was. So I am trying to navigate without any assistance because it won't show you that the streets are one way. You're in the middle of San Jose. We chose a hotel downtown. And most of the streets of downtown are one way, and you're really stuck if you don't have GPS, accurate GPS, because GPS doesn't always work here. So Google Maps works, Waze works, a lot of other things don't work right here. So here I am trying to navigate, and my husband, who is not the best about driving city streets, who tends to get really agitated and worked up if you don't know exactly where you're going. So we stopped at a gas station to make sure we were going the right way, and he lost his wallet there. He discovered it for like 8 blocks, so we had to circle back around all these one-way streets. We had to figure out where we were. We pulled over to look at the map and yell at each other, and it was the saddest thing. We pulled forward, and there were all these guys sleeping in the parking lot of a business. They were all wrapped up. It was just lined up like they were packaged pastries or something. It's the most heartbreaking thing to me to pull into a major city like that and to see the homeless guys just everywhere. So we had to circle back, and we couldn't get exactly there. So we got within a couple blocks and we parked. It's the middle of the night. We're past the curfew that you're supposed to be off the streets for COVID. We're driving our license plate that is the wrong damn number. We're in the downtown area, and you know what there is in the downtown area in a lot of places besides homeless guys. There's drug action, there's hookers. We saw both. I chose to stay with the car because we had suitcases, we both had laptops, we had various things. And what happened at that point was I got to watch a bunch of drug deals going down from the van parked right in front of us. And the hooker stroll was kind of disturbing in a whole different way than the disturbing of seeing all the homeless guys sleeping on the streets, wrapped up like Twinkies, those poor guys. So he went back, he found his wallet, nobody touched it. It was just laying on the parking lot. So we did get to our hotel finally, and it was beautiful. I cannot say enough things good about I think it's the Arula Holiday Inn, middle of town, gorgeous. It's right by the Hotel Gold, Hotel Oro. It's near there. And there's all these old, like turn of the century houses, and there's stuff that go back to the 18th century that looks like it came out of New Orleans. So there's that mixed with the new things. The hotel was just fabulous. It was clean, it was luxurious. I got a handicapped room, so I had a nice little low tub with handlebars so I could get myself in and out, no problem, no balance, no problem, no balance, no problem. I took the longest bubble bath in history and soaked until my skin was red and I was a prune everywhere. So that's the good thing, was the hotel was just fabulous. I don't know, why is this guy not answering me back? I didn't ask him the world's most difficult question. So the next morning, we pack up, we take pictures out the window, eat breakfast on the 17th floor, which is fabulous. It was like this buffet breakfast. They had everything you could ever imagine. I got coffee, of course, the thing I love that I live on. And then we left the hotel with our bags and said, well, let's try to drive there from here. They kept telling us it was only 6 blocks away. I started looking at the map on my computer and realized it's way more than 6 blocks away. We were within about a mile, but it was not walking distance, and it was not going to be an easy place to drive to. And we've driven there before. In the meantime, I've got an email telling me that there are strikes happening and that they don't recommend anybody attempting to drive in San Jose that day. 15 is 1 year left. Says, I have been working as a mechanical engineer for over 15 years, and I still have 1 year left to completely retire. That's not too far away. So let's see what he comes back with, because I'm just giving him softball questions now. I'm going to put the hammer down in a little bit. So here we go. We're standing here in the hotel. My husband's saying, let's get the car. I'm looking at this going, no. The embassy says there's strikes and not to drive in the city. So let's take a taxi. So walk over to the taxi stand. The taxi driver was a sweet little man, and he said, I'll do it for $3 million, about $6. That's bargain, because Uber would have charged me more than that. And Uber was on his old phone, so we couldn't even call Uber. So we took a taxi drive, the ride there, and sure enough, right in front of the hospital is one of the judicial buildings of the judicial courts. And we got to see a strike parade. They all had on their uniforms from wherever they work. I never did figure out what who was striking. They had a band. They were marching and they were shouting, and they had banners. And I learned a new Spanish word, huelga, strike. Went to the doctor. That took a long time. I had a ton of tests run. We came out, and I was crying after having talked to the doctor, because what he was saying was not a good outcome. And because the doctor's office here delayed sending me, I'm likely stuck with the vision problems I'm having and stuck with my ability not to balance. He wants me to see a certain PT individual that works well. That person happens to be in the States right now, so I've got to put that off even further. So who knows what's going to happen. We started to drive back. We could not find our way out of the city. We spent about an hour going around in a circle by just trying to use a little thing. In the end, we ended up pulling into a parking space next to a mall that we could see there was a grocery store within a block or so. And he went in there and he recharged my phone, put 10 mil on it, 3 months worth. And we pulled up the map and we were out of there. But all the driving around and trying to find how to get back onto Route 27, there was a lot of yelling and screaming and words thrown, like there is every time we attempt that. Okay, here he said, you are right. It's not far, and I'm planning for going into business, but I have no business idea yet. Oh, great. Anything you are passionate about. Okay, now I'm just asking him general questions still. So after we survived yelling at each other because the crazy maps and everything, and I got my phone recharged, we left. And it's a good thing we left when we did, because I was still having meltdowns. It was kind of funny because we parked in front of the mall, and I didn't realize that we'd also parked near a major police station. A police officer came out and started trying to talk to me. And like I said, I am post-appointment. I'm not a happy camper at that point. He started talking to me, but his Nicaraguan accent was so thick, I couldn't understand what he was saying. So I told him, no comprende, and I bust into tears, and he walked off. I'm not somebody that cries to manipulate others. I never have been. This was genuine, but I felt bad about it afterwards. I felt guilty, like I should have said, repeat, repeat what you're saying. And but I did not, and we got out of the city. The drive home was simple. I did some of the driving, even though I don't like to drive like this because my vision is not great. We found that on the drive-in that I was not able to see very well at dark with heavy rains. And my husband had to do the majority of the driving. So we got home sweet home. And here we are. And I'm waiting to hear back from the doctor as well as this idiot. And let's check for the doctor. He said he was going to send me the test results. I haven't seen requirements to enter the U.S. Okay. They are Verifly. They want me to sign up for something called Verifly. Oh, yeah, I know what that is. Okay, and this weasel has answered me and then turned around and taken the answer down before I could see it. So he's editing as he's going along. Do you have money put aside for this? It's extremely expensive to start business. He says he's not passionate about anything yet. Get the Verifly app. They're just warning me to go ahead and have a negative COVID test. What the hell? Okay, I'm gonna have to turn my phone on and off and then get my this is a blessing and a curse. I don't know about you guys, but I find sticky with fingerprints. This is a blessing and a curse, this thing. I don't know about you guys, how you feel about this. I struggle with this because people contact me all kinds of day and night, and it doesn't seem to matter. I think I'm going to boot this puppy. Put him down. Okay, I'm trying to return this to Verify. They want me to sign up for that, even though I already have my COVID test scheduled. I don't have COVID. I want to get to this state so I can get vaccinated. Costa Rica, if you're coming here, requires you to have health insurance, which is expensive. You have to buy it through either one of their companies or Trial Week International. It's quite costly. They're dropping that requirement. August the 1st, if you can prove you have been vaccinated already. So guess who is definitely getting vaccinated? Because I hate paying Trawick all that money every time I leave the country and come back in. Like everybody else, that cost, it just drives your cost up being here. But I tell you, it's making me think more and more seriously about, of all things, becoming a resident again, getting my paperwork back together and getting it over to the, okay. He said, now that you have retired, how do you manage to take good care of yourself and still pay your bills when due? Okay, now I'm going to throw out the scammer's mating call. Investments pay it all, the interest, which isn't a lie. That's exactly what I'm living on here. I'm not telling him I'm living on 9% CDs in Costa Rica because he doesn't need to know that. But that's the truth of the matter. Okay, they want me to do verify. Let's do that. I watched when my husband went to the States a couple of weeks ago, last month. American Airlines was letting anybody with the verify on their phone through in a hurry. Every other Poshmo had to fill out and sign this document saying that they didn't have anything. Okay, come on back, dude. Install. Like I said, that thing is a blessing. It is a curse. It makes noise at all hours of the day and night. When it works right, it's wonderful. It was wonderful being able to get out of San Jose because it's the never-ending nightmare. He said, wow, that's nice. And I'm saying, yes, it is. What is your experience so far on the internet? Hey, Real, I got to go through the video of the day I was on your show because if it was not Katie Joy, it was one of her stands came on there and was saying all that nasty stuff. One of the things they said that I've been thinking about, just keeps going around and around in my mind, was they said that I was lying about receiving horrible emails because I wasn't on the list. I keep thinking about that. What list? Is this person saying that there was a list that the hackers had, that they were only going after certain people, and I was clearly not one of those people? If that's the case, that's a very curious statement to be making. I'm going to send that, I guess, to Mr. Saltz and say, hey, look at this person. Real, I'm talking to a very dull Nigerian. I am about to boot his ass through to next Sunday. But I also have to stop and go through your chat and get that. And I have a pile of insurance paperwork to do today. I'm going to spend the entire day working on my insurance stuff so that I can get reimbursed for the $1 trillion I've had to spend on this stupid no balance thing I've got going on that they've now decided has something to do with my thalamus. So let's see what he says. Oh, he says, haha, you're so funny. I'll talk to you later. So apparently this did not end it when I told him that he was a Nigerian romance scammer and that I was going to turn him over and put him on blast. It hasn't ended. So we'll see. We'll come back to him later. He's the most delusional one yet. And that's saying something.